because I was actually on the live stream of the man who refused to die, aka Patch. We were having an interesting conversation, about some things, especially Syria and all the stuff that's going on in there, and Israel and all that other stuff. So I just felt the need that I had to go live and do my thing and let it happen the way that it needed to happen. And it just reminded me that we shouldn't always accept things as they are. Sometimes you have to question, you have to argue, you have to explore the possibilities of life or what's going on and whatnot. So here I am. I'm just saying to folks, you know, too many times we're willing to just shut everything off and block ourselves away and just get into the escapism of life, and that's just something that, kind of numbs us as a society, if anything else. So I encourage people out there, find the truth in life, seek what's important, go after those relevant things. Don't just sleepwalk through life. A lot of times people do that, question things, explore things, argue, debate, you know. Baby girl Neil. I don't debate that. Baby girl Neil is in my chat right now. But yeah, I say don't accept life and reality and things as it is, Look for what's there. Creative spirit, what's going on? I appreciate you for coming through. Got 6 people in the chat. Awesome thing on Saturday morning. I got 7 people. Thank you. Appreciate you and love you all for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up. It lets me know that you care. I'm not going to be on here too long, but long enough to make an impact. And I'm just saying to you folks out there, don't be afraid to question things. Don't be afraid to, challenge the status quo. Thank you, baby girl Neil. I always appreciate that. I always appreciate you coming by. I don't know. I don't even know if you live stream. I was in somebody else's live stream on somebody else's panel, but I appreciate you for being here. An 8th person in the live stream, in the chat. I appreciate you for coming through. Like I said, I'm really just echoing myself at this point, because all too often in the media, saying in life, from people that we know, family members, we kind of just accept, what we're told, and, we just go along with the status quo. And I say, because people like to say, stay woke, yeah, no problem, Tosh Tom. Happy birthday to you again, even though it was yesterday, but still, you still up. Hopefully you had a great birthday. Thank you, Tosh Tom. And I encourage people to check out Tosh Tom. Awesome channel, awesome individual. There you go. But like I said, beauty. It's all good. I don't know who Brandon India is, but that's what that is. Hey to you. Like I said, in life, Molly 1K Dolly. There you go. In life, like I said, you want to try to just, go beyond the conventional wisdom that people give you, just go beyond the standards and status quo of what people give you and feed you and whatnot, because we're in a different century now, especially the things with hashtag the Me Too movement and, women being empowered and, different, I guess people's sexual orientations and religious backgrounds being empowered, so it is a situation where you want to, you want to understand where people come from. You want to understand where society has been. You don't want to disrespect certain things, but at the same time, you don't want to hold tight to tradition. You don't want to hold tight to what you've just been taught and just accept it as gospel, as truth, without challenging it, without exploring it, without going, to the next step and seeing what's real. And unfortunately, the sad part in reality or in life and society is that we're too willing to just accept things. You're in Chicago now. Molly 1K Dolly, welcome to America. Appreciate you. Hopefully Chicago is treating you well. You got to give us some stories and let us know what's going on out there. Excuse me. Hopefully you've had the deep dish pizza, but I'm excited and happy for you being in Chicago. Be safe out there. From the homie in Brooklyn, you already know. Yeah, but like back to what I was saying, hopefully you get to a point where you're willing to see life. You're an American now. There you go. Spread love the Chicago way. If we all agreed on every single issue, topic, and issue, we'd be robots. Yeah, no, you don't want to be robots, but people shouldn't be afraid. You're welcome, Molly Dolly. People shouldn't be afraid to disagree with each other. You shouldn't be afraid to have a difference of opinion. But how you do it, should be with a certain civility. And I think we've lost that in society with the ability for us to just, agree to disagree or have a civil disagreement or just, be on different sides of the issue and then come back together, at the end of the day and remember that we're all human beings. You know, we shouldn't have to be enemies just because we want to challenge things and we don't want to accept certain truths that were given to us and told to us by our forefathers, by our parents, and people who may not have seen the whole picture. And even dealing in this generation, we don't always see the whole picture, but you try to come from a different perspective. You try to do it a little bit better than those that came before you. I'm saddened by the airstrikes, been praying all day. Yeah, I'm saddened by the airstrikes as well, Molly 1K Dolly, but unfortunately, this is the type of society that we live in today. But that's something that should be talked about. That's something that should be explored. That's something that should definitely be questioned. And sometimes people are afraid to question it. Sometimes people are afraid to really have the deep conversations. Sometimes people are so stuck in being entertained and so stuck in pushing themselves away from the world that they forget that there's a real life out there, that there's things out there that we need to be a part of. Now, I get it. Not everybody's strong enough to deal with that. Some people would rather just go along and, get your freak on, get your little groove on, or whatever people do now, or get lit, do a little dab or whatever. Fine, I get that. But when you're done dabbing and getting lit and, finding the boost and having a good time and, doing whatever you do for recreation to disappear from life, there's some things out there that you might want to see. There's some arguments that you might want to have. There's some civil discourse that you might want to engage in. There's a reality out there that exists that you might want to be a part of, because it depends not only on you being a part of it, but it depends on the future that comes here. What do you pass on to different generations? Not everything that's being passed on is bad. Not everything that's being passed on is good. But what is your contribution to, humanity, society? Are you a part of pushing the human race forward, or are you a part of setting it back? Are you a part of being in an old ideology or old mindset where things don't move forward or things don't grow or progress or whatever it may be? Or you're somebody, that has, say, hey, what, look, I'm for it. I'm open-minded. Let's see it. To tell you the truth, yesterday I was talking to an 80-something-year-old man, and we were talking about the generation today. Actually, he was one of the actors from Sopranos. I forget the guy's name. I got to ask one of my coworkers. But we were talking, and he was saying how scary the world is and what's going on, and like I said, what these kids is doing nowadays. And we talked about how we were back then, an 80-year-old man, and the 73 years, 37-year-old man. We were having a conversation about it. Hey, what's up? What's going on, real? You changed your name? Game over? I don't know if I don't know about voting for me, but anyway, I'm talking to this 80-something-year-old man, and we're talking about the different generations and whatnot. And we both agreed, about different generations. And this time, you have to be open-minded to survive. You have to be open-minded to understand, what's going on. We don't always have to agree. We're always not going to be on the same page. It would be boring if we agreed on everything. It'd be boring if everybody believed the same thing all the time without no questions, without no arguments, without no comments, without no criticisms. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people shouldn't believe, in some of the similar same things, but, we get it. There's some people in the world who just have differences of opinions on things, that stands on different sides. There are people that have different religions, different sexual orientations. There's people that come from different races. There's people that have different socioeconomic point of views. There are people who, believe in arranged marriage. There's people that believe in promiscuous lifestyles. There's people that believe, in all types of stuff. But the thing is to not dehumanize each other and tear each other down because of what we believe. And it should be encouraged for folks to constantly question, constantly explore, constantly argue, constantly debate, constantly have the important conversations, not just the difficult conversations, but the important conversations that lead us forward as far as humanity. Because it's easy to pick up a gun, it's easy to drop bombs, it's easy to, make declarations of war and kill people. But it takes work to actually explore, to question, to find truth, to look for peaceful ways to handle things, not just to go after each other and tear each other down and dehumanize each other and just tear each other apart in ways that's just not conducive to, a just society or a moral society, if people still believe in morals. But, those are things that can be explored, because there are peaceful solutions out there that can be gained. There's civil discourse that can happen even in the midst of the most difficult conversations. And I know this being a mediator. I know this personally. There are power imbalances, there are paradoxes and difficult power constructs to deal with and stuff like that. But these things are not impossible. These things are not out of the realm of possibility of dealing with. And hopefully I'm not getting too preachy for folks, but like I said, these are things that I think about. These are things that I explore. And I encourage you to explore. I encourage you not to just take somebody's word for it, which is I fight for myself. Find the truth for yourself. Find out what's going on in the world. See life for what it is. Don't just see it for somebody telling you what it is. Find out. I mean, one of the things I'll give past generations is, especially from the 70s, 80s, or whatever it was, folks were more informed. Sometimes I think the problem is now that we have so much information out here, but very few people are actually informed with real information. It's like I was talking about this on Patches or the Man Who Refused to Die's live stream, how people have information, but at the same time, not everybody is getting the whole story. You're getting pieces of the story. You're getting piecemeal the truth. Last time when you said find the truth for yourself, I think that hit the nail on the head. Yeah. Well, I encourage people, don't let somebody just tell you what something is Tosh time and then you just accept it. I mean, listen, it goes back to an old Russian proverb. Even Reagan quoted it. You trust but verify. If you have a trustworthy source, yeah, you trust what they said, but you verify what they said is true. It's like if Tosh Time told me something, I trust what Tosh Time told me, but I have to verify what she's saying is true. There may be discrepancies, you never know. But for the most part, like I said, you have to be willing to have an open mind and see with your own eyes and hear with your own ears, what's really going on in the world, and be awake and be, aware. Some people say stay woke, but they're not understanding what woke mean. I always hear people talking about stay woke and, be woke and use a woke one and I'm woke-ish, but, it sounds like a whole bunch of malarkey to me, because if you still sleepwalking out in this world. Don't matter if you're saying stay woke. Being woke means being aware, means being alert. Stay alert, stay alive. Being conscious of what's going on around you. You don't have to be so in tune with the society that, you know everything happening minute by minute, but what you want to do is make sure that you have, some idea of what's going on in the world. And I hear so many people so many times say, I don't want to watch the news. I don't want to hear this, and I cut it off and I shut it off and I don't deal with it. You can do that. But when something's going on, like what's happening right now, Syria is getting bombed, and, the U.S. may be involved, and people's loved ones may be getting deployed overseas. I tell you this much. You got a family member that's in the military, you better be watching the news. You got a family member who's a politician, you better be watching the news. You got a family member who's locked up in prison or who's in law enforcement, you better be watching the news. You better be finding out what's going on. You better stay aware to some degree, because this world is full of things that we need to know about. Be it stuff with pollution, be it stuff with economics, be it stuff with politics, be it stuff with just, genetics, with the online stuff. There's things that you need to be aware of. Question it, explore it, argue, debate it. Don't let it just pass you by. Don't let weeks and months and years go by and you're not understanding the reality, the life that exists around you, because you do yourself a disservice. And I'm not just saying that just to say that. Even if I lost somebody, even if somebody don't want to hear this, I'm not saying this to offend anybody. I'm saying this to let people know that we live in a world. We live in a world that exists with you in it, whether you believe it or not. The world can pass you by and life can pass you by, but at the same time, you still have a place in this world. You still have a contribution. You still have ideas and thoughts that you can express that need to be heard. I mean, be it they good, be it they bad, we find out. But you're not going to find out much by just sitting off to the sidelines. A lot of us like to sit off to the sidelines and not even question what's going on, not even begin to explore, not even begin to debate, even with ourselves. Sometimes we'll turn it off to ourselves and say, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I want to be in the dark, But anyway, yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, create a spirit. But if your son is in the military, you should be knowing what's going on with these things out overseas. You should be keeping abreast and aware of what's happening when it comes to things with law enforcement and military tactics and strategic war strikes all over the world. I'm not saying you gotta have classified information, but be aware. With troop deployments and movements in the sea and all kind of other stuff. Be aware, because this stuff affects you. It's important. Maybe you can help somebody. Maybe you can give somebody some information. Maybe you can give somebody some advice, or point them in the right direction, or not have them led astray, because there's so many people led astray. There's so many people afraid, man. There's so many people afraid of life and afraid of real conversations, man. There's so many people afraid to just see things as they are, and it's crazy. What's going on, Fireman CV? So like I said, when it comes to reality, when it comes to life, don't be afraid, man. Don't be afraid to, not accept things just the way that people tell you they are. Don't just accept things, just because somebody, told you or wrote a book or gave you a beautiful speech or some kind words. Don't even just take mine. Let's say I say something in the live stream that sounds good to you. Don't just take my word for it. Go out there and find out and explore for yourself. Find truth for yourself in this life. Figure out what's real for yourself. Once upon a time, at least in America here, we used to have a society where people were informed, where people cared, where people were willing to get involved and get engaged. And it's not just a political thing. This is just a conscious thing, What's going on, Greg? As always, a great chat. I don't know if it's as always, but maybe this one is a little bit more inspired. I had another chat before this, and all I'm saying to folks is, like, don't be afraid, man. Don't be afraid to find things out for yourself. Don't be afraid to do independent studies. Don't be afraid to question, man. Don't be afraid to question those folks that's in power. Don't be afraid to explore, the possibilities of what's real. There's so much fakeness. There's so much, foolery and fake news out there. There's so much, deceit, deception. There's so much, like, nonsense out there. There's so much illusion. There's so much deception as far as, what's real and what's not. We don't need we don't need the show. The show, the games, the politics, and all that stuff is out there. But finding the truth that entitles you being a part of it. PC culture makes it so that people can't speak their minds. We live in an era where adults need safe zones. Nah, well, that's something you explore. That's something you question. Why should an adult need a safe zone? Listen, I got danger just walking in and out my building. There ain't no safe zone. So if there ain't no safe zone, then guess what? I gotta speak my piece. I encourage people to speak their piece, the safe zones and all that stuff. Unless you live in a war zone, unless I live in a war zone, I ain't looking for a safe zone. If I live in a quote unquote free society and I'm not out there hurting nobody, and I'm just speaking my piece, and I'm just looking for truth, and I'm just arguing and debating and questioning, I don't need no damn safe zone. But not to knock your comment, Deadhead, but that's I get it. People should be willing to have real conversations. Like, you shouldn't be vilified if you have a difference of opinion, be it on same-sex marriage, be it on stem cell research, be it on abortion, be it on war, be it on the proliferation of marijuana, the legalization, whatever, whatever it is, saying women's rights, whatever it is. It should not be a point in life where people couldn't question, argue, explore, debate, have that discourse. I think that's what's missing a lot of times, is that people can't have real conversations. So we got to talk about what's going on with the Kardashians, or the latest breakdown of Kanye West, or what's the beef between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, or Stormy Daniels and Trump. Like, come on, what they got to do with my life? What Stormy Daniels got to do with my life? What the Kardashians got to do with what's real to me? What they got? Listen, what the damn Kardashians got to do with the price of tea in China? Like I said, people are so afraid to have real conversations. Like I said, have a real conversations, explore, go after things, see it for what it is. And like I said, maybe conversation is not for everybody. I get it. But for those folks out there that want it, go after it, explore it, argue it, debate it, see it for what it is. I think a man who's dressed in Star Wars outfit in his videos instead of a suit has to have to go get it spirit with a high credit. By the way, high credit spirit. What? I think a man dressed in the Star Wars outfit in his videos instead of his suits has to have a go get his spirit, by the way. Okay, well, I mean, that's one way of looking at it. I mean, I'm not mad at somebody for having a Star Wars suit in one of their videos. I mean, listen, everybody got to express themselves. Everybody got to say their piece. As long as you're trying to speak the truth about whatever it is that you're going after. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't be entertained in life. I'm not saying don't go after good things. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself. I'm not saying don't be who you are in a creative, fun way. Do the fun things. Have a good time. Laugh, joke, eat ice cream, go snow tubing or something, do jumping jacks in the rain. I don't know what you do, what I'm saying? Like I said, go swimming in a river somewhere, I don't know. What I'm saying? Go fishing. I don't know. Yeah, I know. Well, you're having fun right there. But like I said, it's a situation where, like I said, people shouldn't have to be in fear, of just questioning reality, things as they are. People shouldn't be in fear, afraid to see things and have a difference of opinion, from somebody else or be vilified for it. And I think a lot of times people are afraid of stuff like that, people just they don't want to offend anybody, oh, I can't speak my piece, I can't have a difference of opinion, I can't, question things because, if I do, somebody might judge me or somebody might, look down on me or say that I'm less than. And you know what? The crazy thing is, if you do that, they still gonna knock you, not care about you if you do that. Yes, Lonely Prepper, you caught me and I caught you, and we caught each other. I appreciate you. I appreciate you folks for staying strong with me through this live stream. I got 9 people in here, back and forth. I was 5, 9, 9 to 5, 6 thumbs up. If some more people want to throw some more thumbs up, if you like what I'm saying in this chat, I appreciate it. But I mean what I say when I say don't be afraid. What's going on, Rebel Stay Sovereign? I appreciate you. I'm real when I say this. Don't be afraid to question, argue, explore, debate different things, have real conversations, do all this other stuff. Rebel State, Lonely Prepper, all good. Yeah, you got to do your thing. I get what you mean. Yeah, no, that's what it is. Great. And I just saying this. The reason why I'm saying this and expressing it like this is because all too often I hear people who are concerned about the ability to have real conversations. That's something that me and Grim Reaper were doing for a little while, on his channel, just, having real conversations, and not to offend anybody, not to tear anybody down, not to make anybody feel like they're less than or whatever the case may be. It's because as people, we like to entertain it, we like to do the fun stuff. We like to do the big ideas and the lofty stuff. We like to just go into the fantasies and escapism. Fine. But after we finish escaping, after we finish having fun, after we finish entertaining our family, after we finish doing the big, fantasy voyage, getaway stuff or whatever, there's the real thing. Even while it's going on, there's real stuff happening in this world. There's a lot of things that even if we turn the TV or the smartphone off to, it's still on our news feed. It's still going on in the world. It's still stuff happening. We still have war zones and crises and things going on. Not to depress anybody, but we still have things that it's good to be aware of. It's good to question. It's good to wonder and say, is that right? Should this be happening? Is there a better way? Can I make an impact? Whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my part to the conversation. That's just what I'm saying, because I believe that people should be, willing to question things. People should question their government. People should question the status quo. People should argue, debate, and explore and have difficult conversations. People should go into, religious discussions and say, you know what, that's what it is. There are people that question, they get the answer, and do so with a closed mind, yeah, and I encourage people like, Tosh Thomas saying, if you're going to go after these things, have an open mind, so have an open mind towards these things, so don't just, question, argue, explore, and then close your mind to what you're hearing. Be open to what you're hearing. And I encourage people to be open. I know all people won't. I know some people will hear this and say, what the hell is this black man talking about? Or, you know what? Why is he so serious? Why can't he smile a little bit? I just did. But the whole thing is this. Don't be afraid, man. Or woman. Don't be afraid, to live. Granny Master, I explore plenty. But I find the true arguments are and can be enlightening as long as both parties are willing to take turns and keep to the topic. Debate team nerd. There you go, Granny Master. I appreciate you. And great points. Yeah, you want to, debate, argue, explore, question, with people that are open-minded. Even if you're talking to some closed-minded people. Sometimes I have to speak to closed-minded people because I need to understand that other side. Sometimes I have to speak to people that I'd rather just smack in the face, or do other things too, which I'm not going to say on camera. But, you get that perspective because you want to keep an open mind and find out where folks are coming from. Once I know where you're coming from, we ain't got to have a whole bunch of conversations. I see you, you see me. It's like an old timer said to me, once we know where we stand, now we can sit. You stand on one side, I stand on one side, that's what it is. Congratulations on that lonely prepper. I know you're talking to Rebel, but it's all good. Yeah, so that's just where I'm at with it. But Granny Monster did make a great point. Take turns. People should have these conversations. Yeah, some people think it only means their turn. If you can't have an open dialogue, then sometimes you need to cut that off and keep it moving. Shake the dust off your feet. Steps boldly into the realness. Yes, this is the realness. But you could be real too. But okay. Oh, you talking to him, Rebel? Okay, that's what it is. Okay, yeah. Rebel was doing the thing, doing the networking thing. But I appreciate you for being here. I don't know. That's just really what it is, and I agree with what Granny Master said. I agree with what Tosh Tom said. It is what it is. Thanks, Tosh Tyro. I can't argue that. Yeah, no arguments, but it's all good. It's all good. It happens that way, and you know what? It can be beautiful. It can be beautiful. Like I said, I'll probably go for a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna get up out of here because I know I got some moves to make. But I appreciate you 12 people for being here. 13. Somebody just came in at 13. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on me. I appreciate it. Whatnot. There's a lot of people starting to go live now. There's a couple of people that wasn't. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. There's a couple of people who wasn't even live. I went live, and now all of a sudden, all these people going live. I've seen 3, 4, 5 people going live now. I don't know if you've seen Mel, and you're trying to, question, argue, and explore whether or not you can get some of this live stream right now. But it's all good. I think there's enough reality, enough truth out there for everybody. You got to be wanting to see the truth, handle the truth, explore it, and whatnot. And you get that. I think you folks understand where I'm coming from right now. And I don't have to elaborate too much more and go too deep into anything. But like I said, I hope folks are good. And I didn't mean to offend anybody. Hopefully, yeah, the truth is out there. I'm not trying to offend anybody. But if I did, it's only in the name of trying to find out what's true, what's real, what's honest. Just like you can question me, I can question you. We question life. We explore things. We debate things. I'm not always right in my presentation. I'm not always right in what I'm saying. There's times when I need to sit my behind down and get more information. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that I do. We just try to get more information and look at things differently. And that's just where you come from sometimes. I gotta get me some tea though, as I'm into this last minute. Sometimes the last minute is always the trickiest. Let me see. I have to look into Edward Jensen and the Fragging History series. Love working with these guys. Where to keep it love is. Yeah, take care. And then there was Green Bay Wacky. Thank you, Drone Wolf Media. Appreciate you for coming by in this last minute. And we'll ask Pet Master what you asked me about earlier. Okay, it's cool. There's always more to be learned. In my opinions, it should be the subject to change, given more information. Yeah, it should be. Like I said, I encourage folks to, explore life and all the truth and the possibilities with an open mind, with an open heart. Don't be afraid to have the real conversations and see things from multiple angles, multiple sides. Funny, I have some RST here, and normally a coffee guy. Yeah, that's funny. It's good to have RST sometimes. What kind of tea do I have? I have this type of tea here. I got that, and then I got this type of tea right there. And then, let me see, what's the other tea I got? And then I got this type of tea. I think I'm going to have some of this one, and I'm going to have some of that one, But right now, I got to go. I appreciate you folks for watching. Thank you for being around. Like I said, again, don't forget to question, argue, explore, debate. Be willing to seek the truth in all its forms. Being willing to be open-minded about who and what you're talking to. Who and what you're talking to. About who and where you're having your conversations with. And it's all good. Hello, but goodbye. Much love. Same thing to you. Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. You can hear my tea going off now. Night. Hold on, let me cut off the light on it.